Hey everyone, Sir Owen Disney here. It is Tuesday, and now that means that it's time to talk once again about NXT and Impact Wrestling. So we're going to start off with talking about NXT actually for last week. The show starts off with William Regal in his office. He's kind of half-heartedly congratulating Kevin Owens on becoming the NXT champion, and he immediately says that the match ended via ref stoppage, and ref stoppage can change championships. But Owens will not be able to sit on his laurels. No, he was going to have to face off against Adrian Neville tonight in a non-title match so Neville can get some much-needed revenge for his friend Sami Zayn. So that is how we start off the show. So Kevin Owens comes out to the live crowd to a mixed reaction. I know for a fact he's got his fans, I'm one of them, and he has his haters in that Full Sail University crowd. He comes out with the NXT Championship draped over his shoulder, and he says he won because it's simply better for his family to be the champion. Whom he beats and how he beats them is completely irrelevant. Sami Zayn is now put in the past. And after you get done with the past, you have to move forward to the future. And the future is Finn Balor, the new #1 contender. He basically says that Finn Balor can go to William Regal today and pick a time, any place, anywhere, and he will gladly give him a shot at the NXT Championship. He says, simply put, no one is taking this from me or my family. And then he walks out. Great way to start off the show. Man, a few words, doesn't really have to say much here. Basically just putting it out there that he's willing to fight any and all comers at any time possible. And that's the right direction to take this character. And I think that's the right direction to take Kevin Owens. Prove that he is a fighter that's willing to fight anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere. It doesn't matter who it is. From the lowest person on the card all the way up to the main event, it doesn't matter. He will fight anyone. And he's basically proven that he doesn't care who he fights, but he will fight because he has to fight to survive and fight to keep the NXT Championship, which he deems so dear to him. We get our first match, and it's Elias Samson. He's already in the ring. We hear some unfamiliar music. And all of a sudden, on the Tron, we see pictures of Rhinoceros. And I'm thinking, interesting. Then out of nowhere, the return of the man-beast Rhino, who comes out to a huge reaction from the crowd. Completely huge reaction from the crowd. He comes in, belly-to-belly suplex, and he gores Samson out of his boots, gets the 3 count off of that. So Rhino has made his return to television. We haven't seen Rhino in a minute. Obviously, Rhino is the final ECW World Heavyweight Champion. He was ECW World Heavyweight and Television Champion at the same time, actually. And he's a former Hardcore Champion. Rhino has done his time in WWE, and now he's here in NXT. But why is he here? The first thing that pops to my mind is he's going to be used to get over Baron Corbin. And I think that's probably what something will happen. But that's not the first direction they're going to go. Devin's in the back with Finn Balor, and Balor basically acknowledges what Kevin Owens said, and he says, I'll fight you anytime, any place, anywhere. And he's interrupted by Rhino. And Rhino just gets up in his face. Crowd's going crazy for it. He smirks, and he walks away. So Rhino's first program in NXT is going to be against Finn Balor. I have zero issues with this. Excuse me. I think this is actually going to be a really great program. And Rhino is going to be utilized in order to get over some talent. And I think that's actually also going to give him great matches in the long run. Now, back in the day, there was a time that being sent to quote-unquote developmental was a demotion. No, it is a chance to get a rebirth, a rejuvenation of your career. And that's exactly what they're doing with Rhino, and I think that's the right thing to do. Rhino will help a lot of the young talent in NXT in their quest to be better. And I think that feud with Baron Corbin is probably just what the doctor ordered, and I think that will happen eventually. But right now, I am very intrigued at the fact that we're getting a Finn Balor Rhino, not necessarily a program, but at least a match or two out of it. So that's kind of cool. We get our next match of the evening, our first real match of the evening, tag team action. The Vaudevillains, Simon Gotch and Aiden English, taking on the team of Enzo Amore and Big Cass, Colin Cassidy. Carmella's out too, of course, in the corner of Cass and Enzo, and she is hated by the crowd. Her and her really high-up acid wash jean shorts and her fancy rip-off theme music she comes out to. Enzo and Big Cass ends up getting worked over. Enzo basically plays Ricky Morton here, and Big Cass ends up tagging in. Shoulder block, and Simon Gotch comes in. He gets stopped with a knee from Big Cass. English gets tossed into the corner, and Gotch comes in. He eats a sidewalk slam, courtesy of Big Cass. And on top of this, the charging splash in the corner. Enzo tags himself in, and Enzo is tossed into Aiden English. Big boot to English. Enzo makes the cover because he is the legal man. 1, 2, 3. And Enzo Amore and Big Cass win. So, this is a team that Full Sail loves to get behind. And this is a team that Full Sail would love to see win the tag team championships. And I think that's finally the direction we're going. We've had a lot of start-stops when it comes to Enzo and Big Cass. I think this is finally going to be the storyline that gets them the tag team titles. And I think that's the right direction to go. Now, after this, of course, Blake and Murphy show up, and they're acting like heels here, apparently. They're the heels now. And apparently over the house shows over the past weekend, they were working with the Vaudevillains, and the Vaudevillains are working as babyfaces. So, yeah, it could go either way here. Basically, they mock Enzo and Cass, and they hit on Carmella, and they drop the how you doing, and you need to leave the chumps and come with the champs. You know the normal situation when it comes to having a valet in the situation. So yeah, I like how this is going. Blake and Murphy started out like they were going to be baby faces. I think now definitely they're solidified as heels. I think they need to jump Enzo and Cass and get some heat on themselves. I think that's a great idea. So we get Adrian Neville in the back with my good friend and new correspondent NXT's Greg Hamilton. He fell short to be the number one contender in the tournament, but that took a lot of weight off his shoulders. It's kind of a relief. See, the roles are reversed now. He's the one that gets to be the hunter, not the hunted. He watched Kevin Owens destroy Sami Zayn, and Owens has dropped him on his back a time or two as well, but this time it's going to be different. At the end of the day, Owens will not be able to forget what Neville's going to do to him. I like this. Sets up the main event quite well. A lot of heat there. Should be a really fun match. We get commentary from Bayley and Becky Lynch talking about what happened in the four-way at TakeOver Rival for the NXT Women's Championship. Bayley says, "I promise you that one day I will be champion." I know that will happen. Becky was this close to winning, but Sasha won, and as someone else other than Becky had to win, she's glad it was her friend. But at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, she's really super happy that Charlotte didn't win. So, interesting. Very interesting. We're building towards still the four-way feud here, with the boss, Sasha Banks, being now in possession of the NXT Women's Championship, and I'm really curious to see where we go from here. CJ Parker comes out to his Franz Ferdinand's version of Hazy Shade of Winter, and he's wearing street clothes, got his hair up, looking all wanderlust. He goes off on a tangent that he wasn't on Rival, and he hates NXT, and he hates the crowd, so he's going to take the entire show hostage. He says it's bullcrap. Them be fighting words there, CJ. He's ending the show. So he takes a roll of caution tape, and he tapes X's from post to post. There's a sign that he puts at ringside that says, CJ Parker is taking over the takeover, and all of a sudden, the TV starts to skip. We get the very familiar colorization, some new music we've not heard before, and it says, wording, "This is not a test." And all of a sudden, the official in-ring debut is set up, because obviously this was an attack. Solomon Crow jumps CJ Parker, leaves him laying with a wicked forearm, and then nails him with a really awesome rebound body splash. Leaves him laying, and he kind of like snaps back into reality, like he wasn't all there at the time. He was not responsible for what he did while he was under the trance. And he says, "And now we return to you to your regularly scheduled broadcast," and he bombs out. It's the first time we've seen Solomon Crow in the ring in NXT. Obviously, he's going to make his official in-ring debut next week, if I had to guess. I don't know this for a fact. I try to stay away from spoilers, especially when it comes to NXT, because obviously I recap that every single week, and I try to stay away from spoilers as much as I can. If there is something spoiled for myself, I do not talk about it on here until it has actually happened on NXT television. Now, that being said, quite a week for Solomon Crow. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, he actually rescued a lady from a car accident. It's crazy. Her SUV overturned, and he pulled her to safety. He was in the right place at the right time. Apparently, it happened like a little bit close to the Performance Center. So, yeah, kudos to Solomon Crow for being able to, like I said, be at the right place at the right time. I've been wanting to see Solomon Crow get to the main roster for a while now. The former Sami Callihan, obviously, spent a lot of time in the East Coast Independents. He's done it all. He's been a best of the best champion in CZW, and he won the Maryland Championship Wrestling Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup, and he was ranked all the way up to 52 in the, even though it's a kayfabe list, but it's still kind of cool, the 2012 PWI 500. He's been a Super Indie champion, and he won the Jeff Peterson Memorial Cup, so he's winning cups everywhere. He won the Chris Cash Memorial Battle Royal, and he's a one-time Absolute Intense Wrestling tag team champion. He's done it all in CZW with the exception of being the world champion. He was an Iron Man champion, and he churned that championship into the New Horror Championship, because he's obviously the New Horror. The Ultra Violent Underground champion, and he's also a former junior heavyweight champion. He's not a tag champion, and he didn't win the CZW world title, but he's done a lot in CZW. He's still wearing his jacket, which a lot of people thought it was going to be like a hacker gimmick. It's somewhat there, but it's kind of understated, and I know that he was a DJ for Adam Rose at one point, even though that really didn't go anywhere, which thankfully it didn't, because now Solomon Crow is going to be able to be a force in NXT. I'm very curious to see where we go from here, and I do think that his first match, just like with Kevin Owens, is going to be CJ Parker. And once he makes CJP his lady-in-waiting tonight, it's going to be a really fun time for Solomon Crow in NXT. So we get our next match. It is another non-title match, this time being the NXT Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, taking on Old Blue Pants herself. She comes out. She's being hailed as from the clearance rack, and her theme music is simply Big Cass just doing the Price is Right theme in a loop. It's genius. Absolutely genius. Sasha gives her a chance to go away, and she thinks about it for a second, and she decides she wants to kick Sasha to the floor. So, she ducks the clothesline, nice drop toe hold, Oklahoma roll, gets a 2 count off of that. So Sasha comes in and double leg the mounted punches, foot right on the throat, locks in a modified surfboard, Blue Pants elbows out, ducks the clothesline, hits the backslide 1-2, Sasha kicks out, Banks with a shoulder thrust in the corner, puts her on the ropes, hits the double knee drop, and pulls her up at 2. Playing the heels oh so well. She nails the backstabbing Banks statement, and of course, Blue Pants has to tap out. I like this. Blue Pants is really over in NXT, and she's really over in Full Sail. I'm curious to see what they do with her. Obviously, she's not just a flash in the pan. I do think that they're going to do something with Blue Pants somewhere down the line. Maybe not necessarily right now, but I do think Blue Pants, and also, to a lesser extent, Alexa Bliss, they're going to do something with. I think it's going to be a fun reign for Sasha Banks as the women's champion. I think that's really a great direction to go with this, to put the title on her. You do one more match with Charlotte, send Charlotte off to the main roster, and you do something else and push Charlotte towards this feud with Paige that she started basically on Twitter. Sasha can work with Bayley and Blue Pants and also Alexa Bliss, and she can even work with Becky Lynch, because there's obviously some seeds planted there, so I think this is going to be a great run. We get Sasha in the ring again with Greg Hamilton, and Greg tries to interview her, and she grabs the mic and says she's the baddest diva in NXT. Here's the issue I have with this. Say what you want. TNA has the Knockouts division. WWE has the Divas division. That stupid butterfly belt. NXT is the Women's Championship and the Women's division. I don't think Sasha Banks is a diva. I don't think Charlotte is a diva. I'd go so far to say, I don't think Paige is a diva. I don't think AJ Lee is a diva. I don't think that Natalya is a diva. No, it's not supposed to be a derogatory term. I do think that it sounds better to be a woman's champion than a divas champion. But yeah, I mean, the women's division in NXT is pretty solid, and I heard what they did on Raw with the 30-second match, and obviously I don't watch because I haven't watched WWE in a minute, so, and I'm not going to be starting anytime soon. I'll watch Mania, that's be about it. So we get a backstage update on what happened to Sami Zayn, his condition after what happened at Rival when, of course, the referee stopped the match and awarded the NXT Championship to Kevin Owens. CM Punk's favorite ringside physician, Chris Amon, says Sami Zayn will be ready to go soon. Okay. Alright, let's talk main event, shall we? Main event time, non-title match, NXT champion Kevin Owens defending against the man that gravity forgot, Adrian Neville. I said defending, but it's not defending, it's just a singles match, and this match was awesome. So we pick it up off the commercial break. Owens adding insult to injury by just stepping on the back of the neck, and then he clubs Neville in the back of the neck. Snapmare, kick to the spine, gets a 1 count off of it, locks in a chin lock. Neville punches his way out and gets cut off with a knee lift. Owens tosses him over the top rope, and Neville hangs on, lands on the ring apron. A big right hand. Goes for the slingshot, gets caught. Owens going for the gut buster, the fireman's carry into the gut buster, which he already hit earlier on in the match. Gets countered into a spike DDT from Neville. But somehow, some way, Kevin Owens still got up first. Because Neville was beaten up that much before this even happened. So they trade forearms. He charges in, Neville gets the boot up, and they trade forearms and chops. And then whip in, it's reversed. Neville comes off the ropes, Tito Santana style with a flying forearm. And he hits the spin back kick, front kick, spin back kick, comes off the ropes, drop kick to the side of the head. And, of course, Owens smartly powders to the floor. Goes for a back kick. Owens catches it. Neville shakes it off, kicks him back again. Owens bumps on the ramp. So he goes up top, hits a moonsault, lands on the top of the head of Owens, tosses him back in, round kicks, and he gets caught. It looks like Owens was setting up for a dragon screw leg whip, but Neville has other ideas, nails him with an enziguri kick, and puts him down on the canvas. Charges in. Owens backdrops Neville over the top rope. He lands on the ring apron yet again. Springboard shotgun drop kick connects 1-2. Kevin Owens kicks out. So Owens again breaks momentum by rolling to the floor to regroup, obviously. Neville drop kick to the side of the head like a baseball slide drop kick to the side of the head. And then he hits the 450 splash off the ring apron to the floor. I've honestly never seen that before, and I thought it was freaking awesome. Tosses him in, 1, 2, still Kevin Owens kicks out. Waistlock. Owens elbows his way out of it. Charges in, gets shoved off to the ropes because Owens doesn't whip people, he just tosses people into the ropes. Rebound German suplex to Owens. Round kick, waistlock, deadlift German with the bridge, 1-2, and no, Kevin Owens still kicks out. Neville charges in with a European uppercut. Neville comes off the ropes, and Owens runs him over with a back elbow. So he charges in, going for the steamroller, the cannonball in the corner. What happens? He gets caught with a super kick from Neville, which kind of just spins him around all dizzy-like, and he gets caught with a reverse Rana from Adrian Neville. 1, 2, and no, kicks out right at 3. Neville drags him to the corner, goes up top for the red arrow. Owens rolls out of the way, and Neville comes off the top, but kind of like rolls out of it, like a Mexican rolls out of it. Charges in, Owens pick up, pop up, power bomb with authority, 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens wins the main event, and what a match it was. Really great back and forth match between these two superstars. I definitely want to see them face off yet again. I know they've been working each other on the house shows lately because Sami Zayn was in Abu Dhabi working with WWE, touring with them. So Owens and Neville have been working a lot on house shows, and I'm really curious to see where we go from here. This is not the last we're going to see between these two. Obviously, Sami Zayn is selling the injury right now, so he's not going to be able to get involved for a while. Kevin Owens obviously has Finn Balor in his rear view right now, really like gaining on him, ready for another shot, ready for his shot at the NXT Championship, and I know that's going to happen sooner rather than later, but it seems like Balor's going to have his hands full with Rhino in the meantime, so I'm really curious to see where we go from there. Where does Adrian Neville go from here? Some good stuff here. Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze, where they go from here? They're not in this show at all, but I'm sure they're going to be a part of the show that's coming up on Wednesday. I really enjoyed the show. I liked Rhino coming back. I liked the squash for Rhino and then getting in the face of Finn Balor and just kind of like smirking and walking away like he knew something we didn't. I like that. I really like Enzo and Big Cass getting a big win over the Vaudevillains. I know it didn't mean as much as it did when they were feuding with the Lucha Dragons of the NXT Championship Tag Team titles, but still, I think it's a big win, a big upset, and Enzo and Big Cass are the next challengers for Blake and Murphy. Mark my words, it will happen. CJ Parker getting obliterated by Solomon Crowe. I do think that we're going to lead to a match between the two of them probably as soon as this coming week. I don't know for a fact. Sasha Banks is proven that she has to have no friends in the locker room, basically, when it comes down to it. All of them want the NXT Women's Championship, and they'll all do anything in order to attain that title, and I do think that that's going to end up continuing, and I think it rightfully should. Sami Zayn comes back, obviously. Kevin Owens is going to have hell to pay. I'm sure we're going to have some really brutal matches between the two. I'm thinking at the next NXT TakeOver event in April, I think they'll probably square off, or that may be the Finn Balor match. I don't know. It depends on if they blew it off on the tapings. I don't know if they did because I was not paying attention. My nose is itching on camera, which is annoying as all get out. My apologies. Yeah, this was a great show. I really enjoyed it. It's an hour, short, straight to the point. Always enjoy NXT. Great show. So, alright. Let's talk Impact, shall we? We are at the SSX Arena, and this is obviously the big showdown between Grado and Al Snow. It's something they've been building since the beginning of British Boot Camp 2, and obviously they built it last week, and we're finally going to get our payoff tonight. And then there was that hashtag Say Yes Madonna to get Madonna to give the rights to Grado and TNA to use Like a Prayer to bring Grado to the ring. And for those of you that have not seen Grado come out to Like a Prayer, the actual, like, raw footage that someone shot with, like, their iPhone or whatnot, they would see how awesome an entrance it truly was. And this also is based upon the fact that we're going to get a 20-man gauntlet match to determine who's going to be facing off against the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Lashley. But we start off the show with Kurt Angle coming out. He said that he's back for one simple reason, that is once again become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He says no one is going to be able to beat him tonight in the gauntlet, and he will be the top contender after the night is through. Lashley hears this and says, I need to have a little chat with Kurt Angle. So the Twitter feed of Impact Wrestling, at Impact Wrestling, states that Kenny King, Austin Aries, Crazy Steve, Jesse Goddard of the Bromans, and Bram are the first 5 participants in the gauntlet. And it's also made later on completely known that the final 5 are Ethan Carter III, Samoa Joe, Loki, MVP, and Kurt Angle. So we know 10 of the participants involved in the 20-man gauntlet match, and you pretty much can just fill in the rest. So of course Jeff Hardy is hurt and also couldn't make the tour, so we end up doing a 6-man tag with The Revolution, this time being Cowboy James Storm, The Monster Abyss, and Manic, taking on the team of Matt Hardy and Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, the Wolves. Of course, this is the first time we see the Revolution. They're not wearing much blue. Snot didn't really get the memo. He's still wearing his blue Muta paint, and it makes perfect sense here. But everybody else is wearing black. They're wearing heel black, obviously. Like, definitely letting the crowd know they're the bad guys here. And of course, they come out with the aforementioned Great Sonata and Koya. Koya, this is a joke that most people won't get. Koya looks to me somewhat like somebody that I used to work shows with on the regular, and that is Trick Nasty. So anybody watching this show that knows what I'm talking about, and I know there may be like a handful of you out there. If you ever heard of Trick Nasty, yeah, that's who Koya reminds me of. Trick Nasty has shown me more than Koya has so far. I'm sure Koya's a jam-up guy, but he hasn't really shown me very much in the ring yet. Just the fact that he knows how to do a Raideen bomb. But then again, I can do a Raideen bomb. But still, he's got size and he can do a Raideen bomb. Trick Nasty is awesome. But yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say there. So they start brawling at the bell, and Abyss whips Matt into the corner, hits the avalanche, and tags in James Storm. He mocks Matt, and he nails a fist drop off the middle turnbuckle as Abyss holds Matt captive. So Storm grabs the referee's attention, and Abyss chokes Matt behind the referee's back. Manic comes in, goes for a suplex, and he nails it. Rolls into the backdrop suplex, and he locks in a chin lock. Interesting. Matt punches his way out, ducks the right hand. Matt nails him with a side effect, leaves Manic laying. Storm comes in, grabs the foot, and he gets kicked off. Matt tags both Wolves at the same time because why not? So they come in, the double Yakuza kick on Abyss, which of course does not knock him off the ring apron, and Storm comes in, goes for the corner splash, he misses, and chops, and round kicks, and chops, and round kicks, and chops, and round kicks, oh my, to Cowboy James Storm, and Eddie with a leg lariat. Manic comes in, he eats the pop-up kick from the Wolves, Davey suplexes Manic into the super kick from Eddie Edwards, turned into the Falcon Arrow. Abyss makes the save before the 3 count can be completed. Davey with a spinning back kick and whips him in, going for the whip on Abyss, but of course it gets blocked because he's not able to whip the big man. Whip in, handspring, gets caught by Abyss, shock treatment connects. Not this time, because obviously when he was going for it, his partner pulls him to safety. Abyss goes for a double clothesline, double duck under. Storm ends up getting tossed into Abyss, and Rock and Roll Express style double drop kick by the Wolves allow Abyss to DDT James Storm. So I like that. It's been going on a lot. Koya comes in, he gets tossed. Sonata comes in off camera, he gets tossed. And in the ring, Matt ducks the Manic clothesline, and Cameron, North Carolina leg sweep connects. Boot in, goes for the twist of fate. Eddie Edwards comes in, double foot stomp, and that's to the upper back. Davey comes in, it's a double foot stomp. Eddie makes the cover on Manic because he's the legal man. 1, 2, 3, and Matt Hardy and the Wolves win. Match is over. Storm and Sonata come in, so the Revolution are on top, beating the daylights out of Matt Hardy and the Wolves. Koya with the riding bomb on Eddie Edwards. Matt goes for the twist of fate on James Storm. He gets shoved off, tossed into Abyss, big right hand, overhand style, walks right into last call super kick, and this is the interesting part here. Storm gets up in Abyss's face and talks to him for a second. And the next thing you know, he grabs Manic and leaves him laying with a black hole slam. Manic, of course, sporting the the dark Shark Boy look. He's got this yellow mohawk on the top of his black mask. I think it looks kind of cool. But he ate the black hole slam because he lost. And they drag Manic to the back, because obviously, all for one, right? So yeah, I like this. I like this match a lot. Great way to kick off the show. Really hype match to kick off the show. Crowd was really into it. Matt Hardy and the Wolves work really well together as a 6-man component. And the Revolution, I have no issues with them personally, but they do need another heavy hitter involved. Manic and Storm, that's one thing. Manic and Sonata is one thing, obviously. Sonata's fine, I have no issues with Sonata. Manic's okay, I think they really need to do more with him. Koya is unproven, but that's understandable because he just got brought in. You have Storm and Abyss, you need one more, heavy hitter, one more name to join the Revolution. I think that's something they need to look into. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head who that would be. Maybe Samuel Shaw, because he's kind of a man without an island right now. Maybe Samuel Shaw would be a really good person to join the Revolution. So, just an idea. So, Ethan Carter III comes out with Tyrus. EC3's not in a great mood because his scalping time was ruined last week, courtesy of Ken Anderson. And now he's going to take it out on anyone and everyone. It ruined his day. Mr. Anderson comes out, and he basically questions the fact that EC3 is really obsessed when it comes to scalping people and shaving their heads. Okay. But when it comes down to it, he's trying to steal his victim's dignity. That's basically what he's trying to do. He says he's going to gladly take Carter's hair for himself. Carter calls for his backup plan. Tyrus gets up in Anderson's face on the floor, and this allows for a distraction, which allows for Mandrews and Spud to get in the ring, and Mr. Anderson makes Tyrus watch as Mandrews and Spud attack. Tyrus comes in to make the save, but he ends up walking into the mic check. They duct tape Tyrus to the ropes, and they shave off his mohawk, because why not? Mr. Anderson says he looks pretty, and Spud gets on the mic, very excitingly saying, Ethan, Tyrus was the first customer, and now you're next. Let the scalping begin, and getting the fans to chant, scalp, 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 scalp. I actually like this. I like the fact of what they're doing with this. I know EC3, without a doubt, is the MVP, no pun intended, of TNA, and has been since he came into the company. Obviously, WWE did not know what to do with EC3, and now look at him. He's definitely turned into a superstar of his own right, and very soon will be TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and justifiably so. I think that's the reason why you would put the title on a Kurt Angle, to get the title off of him and put it on EC3, which I think is the direction they're going to go. I don't know this, I'm guessing. So, I like this because it obviously is a story, one of the two storylines out of British Boot Camp, even though technically this is just the stars of British Boot Camp and the winner who won British Boot Camp working with EC3, and then of course you have the regular British Boot Camp storyline, which is coming up in the next segment. The Beatdown Clan are talking about stopping Kurt Angle once and for all. MVP says they're going to stand tall at the end of the night, regardless. Mickie James, of all people, arrives to the building and says she has some important business to discuss, and she wants to talk about Magnus's condition. For those of you that don't know, she is legitimately engaged to Magnus, so they're going to create true life once more. So we saw what happened last week. Al Snow calling out Grado. He said if Grado beats him, he'll shake his hand in the ring, and he's going to eat a lot of crow. So, of course, we get this match. Al Snow and Grado. Al Snow looking decent in the ring. He's got his gray goatee, and he faces off against Grado. Now, Grado comes out, and TNA was trying like madmen to get Madonna to get them to use Like a Prayer. Well, obviously they didn't. They did do some sort of a rip-off of it, which actually doesn't sound too bad, but it wasn't the same. The New Jack-style entrance of Grado would have worked really well on this program, and I really think that it would have been a great play for him. Grado is super over in this, obviously. He's in his hometown crowd, and he's facing off on national television against Al Snow, someone he's been quote-unquote feuding with since the beginning of British Boot Camp, too. I think that they really need to find a way to sign Grado now. I don't know if it's financially feasible for Grado to relocate to the States or not, but I think it'd be great if TNA brought in Grado. I don't know why I keep doing this Simon Diamond thing with grabbing my face, but it happens, sorry. So yeah, this match was fun. Fans were really into it, but you can tell the reaction was kind of muted because the fans were super into it. I've seen the Raw footage, so I know that's the case. But it was kind of muted given the fact that they had to play different music over top instead of Madonna's Like a Prayer. This match was short, but it didn't have to be long. Al Snow jumps him at the bell, and he works him over, and he chokes Grado with a wrist tape, and he mocks Grado's mom at ringside, hits the snowplow, makes a slow lax cover, but still only gets a 2 count. So Snow slaps Grado in the face, boot in the midsection, scoop slam, stomps Grado yet again. He cuts the throat, goes up top for the moonsault, still only gets a 2 count. Grado is not able to be put down. Snow goes up top for the moonsault again. Grado rolls out of the way, drops the straps, hits the wee boot, and the roll and slice cannonball in the corner. Snap jabs, flip flop and fly, the bionic elbow connects. He tunes up the band instead of sweet chin music. He goes for the wee boot yet again. Snow grabs head, swings, Grado ducks out of the way, hits the wee boot, 1, 2, 3, and Grado wins. Finally, redemption. And instead of getting a handshake, Al Snow raises his hand in victory. So what happens after this? Samoa Joe, Low Ki, and Kenny King hit the ring. So the Beatdown Clan start beating down Al Snow and Grado. Then all of a sudden, a guy wearing a hoodie, a tall guy wearing a hoodie, with a lead pipe comes out, and he decks Kenny King, and then he slices Low Ki, and I mentioned slices Low Ki because he legitimately busted him open. Like, he was bleeding profusely. And you could tell Low Ki was legitimately angry. He looked legit pissed when this happened. Blood was like pouring out of the back of his head because this person hit him with a lead pipe. He rips off the hood, and it's Drew Galloway. Drew Galloway making his TNA debut. Now, obviously, Drew Galloway has a history with the next segment, and I'm sure they did this on purpose too, being the current Knockouts champion, Taryn Terrell. Taryn Terrell, in essence, basically being cost her job because of the altercations with Drew McIntyre, the former Drew McIntyre back in the day. So now they get to work together in a public forum, and it's going to be curious to see what happens with that. But yeah, Kenny King is holding back Low Ki, and Low Ki, you can tell, is legitimately angry, and he wants to just literally kill Galloway right here in front of everyone. I like Galloway being brought into the Beatdown Clan storyline right away because it gives another person to work with the Beatdown Clan. So we pick up our next match. Knockouts title on the line. Kong is watching as the Bromance and Angelina Love are talking in the back, talking about an Ussie, not a selfie, an Ussie. So Taryn face off against Angelina Love. Match was short, straight to the point. Angelina hits a baseball slide drop kick. Samoan drop on the floor on the champion, picks her up, and goes up top. She gets hair married off by the champion. Clothesline, boot in, the side somersault neck breaker off the ropes, and snap suplex connects 1-2, and Angelina kicks out. Middle rope clothesline connects, and she goes for the TKO, gets tossed off, and Botox injection connects 1-2, Taryn Terrell kicks out. So ducks the clothesline, TKO connects, and 1-2-3, Taryn Terrell retains. Lights go out. Kong's in the ring when the lights come back on, faces off against Taryn Terrell, and they fight. And Taryn Terrell is not backing down. She's throwing vicious forearms in. Kong's not budging, but she runs her over the shoulder block, hits the implant buster, and leaves her laying. Gail Kim slides into the ring. We have a stare down. Kong grabs the Knockouts Championship, holds it above her head, and then drops it on the unconscious carcass of Taryn Terrell laying in the center of the ring, and gestures like, this isn't over. So we're building towards Gail Kim and Awesome Kong yet again. Zero problems with this. Taryn Terrell's had a great run as Knockouts champion. I think it's probably going to come to an end sooner rather than later. But I wouldn't mind this being a three-way feud because Taryn Terrell has proven that she can definitely go. She's not just a pretty face. She is a pretty face without a doubt, but she can definitely go in the ring. And I'm really curious to see where we go from here. So once again, we get Tommy Dreamer showing up. And once again, he's got a problem with Eric Young. He says, you know what? I'm done talking, I'm ready to fight. So he calls Showtime out. EY doesn't come out. So he goes to the back. And he goes to gorilla position looking around. He turns his back. EY jumps in from behind. They brawl into the arena. Dreamer starts beating him up. He finally gets on top, grabs the microphone and says, get me a referee, we're going old school. So we get ourselves an old school hardcore match on the show. Dreamer gets busted open by EY biting his eyebrow, which I know if you, use the knuckle to punch down the eyebrow. Harley Race used to do this back in the day. You read about it in McFoley's book. One of the many. His first one, actually. Hard Knocks and Cheap Pops. So, yeah, have a nice day. So, if you take your fist, the knuckle drags right across the bridge of the eyebrow. You can split someone's eyebrow open. But it was gushing. And I don't know if it was supposed to gush that much because I've never tried this before, obviously. Maybe Dreamer bladed, I'm not sure. I know that he was setting up getting the crowd to move out of the way for him to get caught and Atomic dropped crotch first on the guardrail, like he normally does. And then EY bites the forehead, and then all of a sudden Dreamer comes back up and he's gushing, and I mean gushing blood. Vicious as all get out. He basically bites his eyelid. Like, eyelid, his eyebrow, like right here. So blood is gushing. EY's like becomes a vampire apparently. So Dreamer ends up sending Young into the steps, whips him into the ring post, short arm style, tosses him in, gets a table, slides it into the ring, and the bell finally sounds. We finally have an official match. Of course, the referee has finally materialized, and we have a match. EY baseball slide drop kicks the table in the Dreamer's face, puts the table in the ring, drops the elbows to the neck, goes for the pile driver, Dreamer backdrops out of it, goes for the DDT, gets countered, leg sweep, sends Dreamer back of the head onto the chair. His back lands on the chair, but it seems like the back of his head landed on like the legs of the chair, and that's one of the hardest things to hit on a chair. It sucks. The back portion of a chair is the hardest thing to hit on the chair. Trust me, I know. It's happened before. It doesn't happen twice, trust me. So he comes off the ropes, drives the elbow in twice, sets up the table, and he puts Dreamer across it. He heads up top, Dreamer comes up, hits a right hand, and he climbs up, going for a superplex. Superplex to the table, but Dreamer seems to go through more than EY does because they were way too close at the time. Both men are down. So they trade punches to get back in. Dreamer goes for the bionic elbow after the flip, flop, and fly, and of course he connects, grabs the chair, and he puts it across the groin, and elbow drops the chair into the groin, New Jack style. Goes for the Spicoli driver, which is actually called by Josh Matthews, because finally someone calls it the Spicoli driver. And it gets countered, low blow by Eric Young, hits the head of Dreamer into the chair set up in the corner, setting up your own demise. It happened earlier on in the match. Boot in, pile driver, match over. So EY and Dreamer fighting yet again. I don't have a problem with Dreamer working with Eric Young. I think they're decent matches, decent hardcore matches. And Eric Young is only going to go up here. I love the fact that Eric Young is so loved, but he has turned around completely, and he has just rejuvenated his career as a heel, and I love it. I'm really curious to see how the Orlando crowd reacts to the heel Eric Young, because obviously he was really over as a babyface when they were last in Orlando, because I was there. I heard it. Eric Young now completely has a tunnel vision to like kill, hurt, maim, and destroy, and beat up Bobby Roode, of course, because that's what he does. So, I like that a lot. Mickie James comes out next, thanks the crowd. Bram broke her heart because of what he did to Magnus. Calls Bram a coward for attacking Magnus from behind, and Bram comes out with the actual cue ball that he dented the head of Magnus with. The only reason he attacked Magnus was to give him a wake-up call. He says Mickey's made him soft, watered him down. Magnus could have anyone in the world, but now he's stuck with her. A dirty kid at home and a needy redneck who ruined his life. So Mickey says Bram's only the half of the man that Magnus is, and Magnus would simply whip the daylights out of him. Calls Bram a bitch, and Bram backs Mickey into the corner. Mickey's not backing down, and she slaps Bram in the face. Mickey says she's not scared, and officials come out to break it apart. Obviously, we're building towards Magnus and Bram. I like this a lot. I think it's going to work really well. Magnus is a babyface, sympathetic babyface. The storyline with Mickie James will make him even more of a sympathetic babyface. I'm really curious to see where we go with this, especially given the fact that I believe the storyline is just for the UK, and then I don't know if it goes anywhere after that. Probably go to scratch my nose at this point. Lashley meets Angle in the back. Lashley says he's the champion. Angle says, I respect you, but you will lose when we get in the ring, and you'll be the next person I face off with. We got a 20-man gauntlet, and that's your main event of the show. Kenny King and Austin Aries started off. Aries hits the pendulum elbow, tries to eliminate Kenny King, but to no avail. Crazy Steve comes out at number 3. Steve and Aries look like they're going to double team Kenny King, but no. Instead of a high five, Aries ducks Crazy Steve, and they start pounding on each other for a while. Here comes Jesse Goddard's at 4, and Jesse ends up getting tossed, but he goes to skin the cat, and he kind of fails, rolls back into the ring. So Bram comes out at 5, and he beats down Crazy Steve, and he goes to try to dump Steve, but somehow, miraculously, Steve survives. Koya's number 6, and he eliminates Crazy Steve pretty much right away. Chris Melendez is back, and it's the first time I've seen him. Obviously, when I was on my TNA sabbatical, I was not able to see Melendez in the ring. He starts brawling with Bram. Here comes Mr. Anderson, of course. Speaking of Chris Melendez, one of his best friends here, is number 8. We come back from a commercial break, and Sonata, DJ Zema Ion, and Samuel Shaw have entered the ring, and Chris Melendez has been eliminated. Tyrus comes out at 12, and like I said, Melendez was eliminated by Bram during the commercial break. So Rockstar Spud comes out at 13. He brawls with Tyrus, and eventually Tyrus eliminates Samuel Shaw, and he eliminates Jesse, and DJ Zema Ion rapid fire. Spud attacks with Reckless Abandon, but Tyrus is able to eliminate him anyway. Robbie E comes out at 14. Tyrus dumps Koya, and Sonata miss Tyrus in the face. Tyrus, of course, is distracted and blinded, so Mr. Anderson allows him to elbow Sonata off the ring apron because he got tossed over the top, so he got eliminated from the ring apron. And he dumps Tyrus out of the ring. Tyrus tries to skin the cat, and that really doesn't work. Anderson bites the hand that tries to beat him and eliminates Tyrus. Gunner comes out at 15, Ethan Carter III is out at 16, and Austin Aries eliminates Robbie E. Gunner eliminates Bram, and Samoa Joe comes out at 17. Mr. Anderson tosses Ethan Carter III, and it looks like he was supposed to toss him over the top rope, and EC3 was going to try to hang on, but he kind of lost grip, and it looked like it was elimination that shouldn't have happened, because you could see Ethan's face afterwards. It was like, that shouldn't happen. Loki comes out at 18, MVP is at 19, of course, here comes Kurt Angle at 20, so Joe tosses Mr. Anderson as Aries and Gunner are left with the 4 members of the Beatdown Clan. Joe and MVP toss Gunner, and Kurt Angle officially comes out at 20. German suplex to Kenny King. German suplex to Loki. We go to commercial break. We come back again. Austin Aries is eliminated, now leaving Kurt Angle alone with the Beatdown Clan. Lashley comes out to watch. Only to watch. ST Joe on Angle. Joe charges in. Angle low bridges, and Joe goes over the top rope to the floor. He's eliminated. Low-key attacks, hits a European uppercut, charges in, and he gets backdropped over the top rope to the floor. MVP goes for the Yakuza kick, he misses, and Kenny King charges in, Angle eliminates him. Angle and MVP are the final 2. So they trade punches. A right hand drops Angle, drops the elbow, and double choke thrust, chin breaker, hits the ball and elbow, but MVP goes for the elimination. He can't dump Kurt Angle over the top. Angle lands on the ring apron, MVP misses the baseball slide, and boot in, right hand, European uppercut from the American Icon. Interesting. Angle tries to dump MVP, and he escapes somehow. 2 round kicks to the knees, drop kick to the knee from MVP, sitting up for the drive-by kick. It misses. German suplex, and Angle drops the straps. Kenny King grabs Angle's ankle. MVP Yakuza kick sends Angle over the top rope to the floor, and it's official. MVP is now the winner of the 20-man over-the-top rope gauntlet match to determine who's facing off against Lashley this Friday on Destination America for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I like this because it sets a roadblock in Kurt Angle's path of winning back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and it gives MVP a chance to beat Lashley along the way. I like this a lot. Not much you can do with a Battle Royal, not much you can do out of the Battle Royal. Obviously, Spudden got into it with Tyrus a bit. That continues. Kurt Angle left with the Beatdown Clan, eliminated everybody one by one. I don't have a problem with this until it came to MVP, and of course MVP ends up getting the elimination to toss Kurt Angle out. So yeah, Angle is definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder for this, and he's probably going to beat down MVP, and we're going to have some fun off of this. No problem with this match at all. It was alright for what it was. Battle Royals, like I said, you really can't judge them, but it was okay. For the show overall, the 6-man tag worked really well for me. Al Snow and Grado, crowd reaction, off the charts, sign Grado tomorrow, Dixie Carter, please. Taryn and Angelina had a decent back-and-forth knockouts match. I enjoyed that. Dreamer and Eric Young, good old-school ECW-style hardcore match. It actually got an ECW chant from the crowd. The gauntlet match was what it was. It's a gauntlet match, so yeah, it's Battle Royals, and they're not fun to... They're fun to be in, but they're not necessarily fun to watch all the time, so yeah. But now MVP is the winner, so he gets a shot against Lashley in the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that happens this coming week. It happens this Friday on Destination America. So that is your Impact Wrestling recap. So that is your video for today. So next week we'll talk at TNA and NXT one more time. And as always, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, subscribe. Help spread the word about Pop. If you'd like to, you can get a hold of me on Facebook and friend request me at Owen Disney. Follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney, and you can send me a request for questions, or if you have a wrestling podcast or a theme park podcast you'd like me to become a part of it, you can do that, or you can ask me questions about Disney, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights. We can talk that if you'd like to do that. Or we can talk about TNA, we talk about NXT. We can do that. All you got to do is email me, sirowendisney@gmail.com. It's a quick programming note. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the what happened over the weekend, the price increase for tickets at Walt Disney World, as well as what's going on with Kong. We're going to talk about Kong tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. Sip and snack this week, we're going to focus on chocolate cereals, so that's going to be fun. And I think we may have Oreos on top of that. Don't know yet. Haven't quite decided. AJ's Movie Reviews returns on Friday with Focus and the Lazarus Effect, and a few more probably to be announced. Ashley returns with Gaming with Ash on Saturday. Sunday will be of the brand new Versus. Codename is High School, and Monday will be AJ and myself and probably Ashley. Haven't quite got that worked out yet, but once it's worked out, I'll let you guys know. Talking all things Academy Awards, what happened on the ceremony on Sunday, the one a couple days past. So yeah, we got that coming up. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.